Okay, so in this video, we're going to go over removing paint with what some artists that do alters and even people who probably do other things with paint that might be known to them as the toothpick trick. And the toothpick trick is how you get that fine border when you're done painting. And as you can see, we've already started on the card, and we have one of the lines gone from having paint going past the border further than we want and removed to make it a straight line and a smooth line so that you have a nice clean look when you're done. When you want to remove paint, all you do with the toothpick trick is you get it the end a little bit wet. It's just H2O, and you're rubbing the tiny piece of wood that makes up a toothpick, and you're just gently, lightly rubbing along the edge, getting as close to the line as possible. You can go over the line a little bit. Usually it's not a big deal. The line on most Magic cards, especially the newer ones, the modern era cards, is actually thick enough that if you get into the line a little bit, it really isn't going to show when it's done. And if you go too far past, you can always apply a little bit more paint later. You can even use a Sharpie for a touch-up or a pin if you don't want to wait 20 minutes for one dot to dry, and you want that finished look that looks nice, and you want to be precise. So, but with what we're doing here is we're just gently and very lightly rubbing the toothpick onto the border, going up to it as close as possible. And every once in a while, we're applying a little bit of water if you have to cheat and use a little bit. That's fine. What matters is the end result. And usually when you're painting, you're probably going to have some water nearby, some Tupperware or something from around the house, and just put it with water for your paintbrush. You also use it for the toothpick. The paint, for the most part, should come off fairly easily. Sometimes it will take a little bit more if you find that you're having a smudge or a spot where the paint is sticking more than you want, even after rubbing. You can even get the toothpick a little bit wet and rub the surface where the paint is. Wait about 30 seconds or so, and then go back and rub it again. And you can also, as you can see here, use a wet cloth or a paper towel. And only the paint that you want to remove is really going to come off. That's what's really nice about the acrylic paint. And as you can see, we rubbed it, and the only paint that came off, it didn't come off the border because we weren't getting the border wet. We weren't applying friction to the border. So when we rubbed it with the paper towel, only the paint we wanted to come off is what actually came off. As you can see here in the third part of the card near the corner, we're rubbing the lines in, and again, you go over the lines, you get as close as possible, get that nice smooth clean look, rub it off if you need to with your hand or a paper towel. And we even covered some text here. This is not a common mistake that is going to be made, but as you can see, you can't tell what that sentence says, and it's pretty much covered. The border's nice, smooth, and clean, but to show a real glob of paint if you accidentally swipe on a line too much. This again, the toothpick is it's wetted, and it's applied to where the words draw 3 cards are now appearing, removing the paint, and it comes right off. There's no other way to put it. If you want to remove paint, the best way to do is with the toothpick trick. Get it wet and rub it, wipe it a little bit with a paper towel. You can use your thumb or finger, and when it's done, it's going to look nice, it's clean, and it's going to look smooth just like that. Every once in a while, maybe 1 in 100 cards, 1 in 200 cards or so, I'll get a stubborn spot where the paint just does not want to come off. And you can even use, if you have the Xacto knife, you can use the Xacto knife to remove it, but you got to be very, very light with that because you can actually cut into the surface of the card, and then you might have an issue where the color of the card and the desurfacing of the card don't match, and then that stands out. But if you do it very lightly, if the toothpick doesn't work and you have to, you can even resort to the Xacto knife in emergencies. But that's it. That's how you remove paint. That's how you get that nice, smooth, clean look when you're done. I hope it helps, and hopefully we'll see you at the next one. Thank you for watching.